So good afternoon. Today I will continue the chapter chemical coordination and integration, right? So in my previous class I have started the new chapter, that is chapter number 22. The name of the chapter was chemical coordination and integration. There is too much echo. Then wait a minute. Now it is okay. Okay. Thank you, Vavya and Divya. So, we are continuing the chapter chemical coordination and integration, right? So, in the first class, we have seen that what is the meaning of gland and what are the different types of glands can be found. So, no, class. So human endocrine system. Okay. So what are the different parts? That is, first one is hypothalamus. And I have discussed the hypothalamus part in my previous class, location, function and the different hormones. And the second one is the pituitary gland. So today first I will discuss about the pituitary gland. So first we will know the location. So what is the location of this particular endocrine gland? This pituitary gland is located in a bony cavity called sella turcica, and it is attached with a hypothalamus by a stalk which is called as infundibulum. Okay, so if I draw the diagram, then these type of structures can be found. It is a lobed structure because pituitary is having lobes, and it is attached with the hypothalamus. Okay, so in the base, what is the location of the hypothalamus? Hypothalamus can be found on the basal part of the diencephalon or forebrain, right? So, and as I have mentioned that the hypothalamus actually control the function of the pituitary hormone. So from this you can understand that the location of the pituitary will be near the hypothalamus, right? So pituitary gland is located in a bony cavity. In a bony cavity called sella turcica. The bony cavity, the name of the bony cavity is sella turcica. So I am repeating, what is the location of the pituitary gland? Pituitary gland can be located in the brain. First of all, it is located in the brain. And in which part of the brain? In the brain there is a bony cavity which is called as sella turcica, and it is attached with a stalk attached with the hypothalamus with a stalk which is called as infundibulum. So if this is the stalk, we can call it infundibulum. Okay. So above this portion we will find the hypothalamus. So pituitary is attached with the hypothalamus by the help of a stalk which is called as infundibulum. Okay. Now you can see that pituitary gland is divided anatomically into two lobes. So what are these two lobes? Anterior pituitary or it can be called as adenohypophysis. Why? Because the alternative name of pituitary is hypophysis. So the alternative name of anterior pituitary is adenohypophysis. Clear? And there is another lobe that is called as posterior pituitary. Posterior pituitary. And the alternative name of posterior pituitary is neurohypophysis. Neurohypophysis. Okay, so these are the two different lobes of pituitary, and in between these two lobes there is a small part which is called as middle lobe. So posterior pituitary, anterior pituitary or adenohypophysis, and posterior pituitary or neurohypophysis. Okay, now this anterior pituitary is again divided into some parts. The two main parts of this structure is pars distalis, pars intermedia. Pars distalis and pars intermedia. Okay, let me write it down. The two parts are so first part is pars distalis and the second part is pars intermedia. And another small part was there which is called as pars tuberalis. Okay, so these are the different parts of anterior pituitary. Now this pars distalis is the main portion, and this pars distalis portion actually called as anterior pituitary or adenohypophysis, and from this part many hormones can be released. Now you have to know the name of the hormones which can be released from this part, or anterior pituitary, or we can call it pars distalis. So we have seen the location part. Now we will know about the different hormones which are released from the pituitary. What are the different hormones can be released from the pars distalis part, which is commonly called as anterior pituitary? These are growth hormone, prolactin, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone. Okay, so I am writing the names. Okay, I have written the short forms. So, what are they? FSH, LH, ACTH, TSH, prolactin, growth hormone. First one is FSH. Full form of FSH is follicle stimulating hormone. Full form of FSH is follicle stimulating hormone. Next one is LH. Full form of LH is luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone. Third one is ACTH. Full form of ACTH is adrenocorticotropic hormone. Next one is TSH. Full form of TSH is thyroid stimulating hormone. Next one is prolactin, and prolactin can be written in short like PRL. And the last one is GH. Full form of GH is growth hormone. Okay, so these are the main hormones which can be released from the pars distalis part, and this pars distalis part is mainly considered as anterior pituitary. And the next part is pars intermedia. From the pars intermedia, a main hormone which is releasing, which is called as melanocyte stimulating hormone. In the short we can write MSH. So from the pars intermedia only one main hormone can be released, that is MSH, and the full form of MSH is melanocyte stimulating hormone. Okay, so in humans the pars intermedia is almost merged with the pars distalis part. Okay, now from the posterior pituitary, the part of the posterior pituitary is considered as pars nervosa. The parts of the posterior pituitary or neurohypophysis is considered as pars nervosa. Okay, so from this part nervosa, some hormones can be released. So from the posterior pituitary, it stores and releases two main hormones, that is oxytocin and vasopressin. Oxytocin and vasopressin hormones can be released from the posterior pituitary. Actually, these hormones can be synthesized in the hypothalamus and transported axonally to the neurohypophysis. In the previous class, I have discussed about how there are two parts of the pituitary, that is anterior pituitary and posterior pituitary, is connected by the hypothalamus. How their secretions are exciting those parts. So for the posterior pituitary, it is directly connected to the neurons, and that is why it is actually synthesized in the hypothalamus and transported axonally to the posterior pituitary or neurohypophysis. Okay, so all these hormones are having different roles in our body. So first I will discuss about the main general functions of all the hormones. So first one is FSH. So as their name suggests, follicle stimulating hormone. So you can understand that it has the role on the follicles. Next one is LH. It is also related to the reproductive system. ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone. So it will act on the adrenal cortex. Next one is TSH. It will act on the thyroid. So as the name suggests, thyroid stimulating hormone. And the growth hormone, that is GH, and it is helping in the general growth. Okay, growth of the body, growth of the bones, muscles, like that. And another two hormones, that is oxytocin and vasopressin. This prolactin also helps in the production of the milk, and the oxytocin actually what it does at the time of parturition or the baby birth, contraction in the smooth muscles of the uterus is required. Okay, so contractions of the smooth muscles will be done with the help of this oxytocin hormone. So smooth muscles of the endometrium. So endometrium, smooth muscles of the endometrium will contract, and it will send a signal to the brain that it is the time for the parturition. Okay, and the another one is vasopressin, and its alternative name is an ADH or antidiuretic hormone. The alternative names are ADH in short, or in full it is called as antidiuretic hormone. It helps in the maintaining the blood pressure and the water balance in the body. When you will read about the excretory system, you will come to know that when our body will get dehydrated, then ADH will act on the duct and it will reabsorb the water and will help to maintain the blood pressure, like that. Okay, so these are the different hormones which are playing main roles in maintaining different main functions of our body. So now we have to know what will happen if these hormones are secreted in quite high amount or in less amount. So these hormones should release in a appropriate amount. If it release in higher amount, it may create some problem, or it release in the lower amount, then also it may create some problem. So now we will get two terms, that is hypersecretion and the second one is hyposecretion. Hypersecretion means when a particular hormone is releasing in the high amount. Okay, then it is called as hypersecretion. Hormone is releasing in the below the normal level, then it is called as hyposecretion. Now the oversecretion of the growth hormone, that is GH, can create some problems. That oversecretion of the GH stimulates the abnormal growth of the body and it can create a condition which is called as gigantism. Okay, it is creating a condition which is called as gigantism, and if it is not releasing in the appropriate amount, that means if hyposecretion is there, so for hypersecretion it will show gigantism, that means the person will the height of the person will height of the particular person will quite more than the normal person. Okay, so it will cause a gigantism, and for the hyposecretion it will cause a condition which is called as dwarfism. The condition is considered as dwarfism. Okay, so this is the function of the growth hormone, which and we have seen that what will happen if its secretion in the hyper condition, and if it is in the lower condition, it will create this type of problem. Dwarfism means the height of the person will be less. Okay, next another hormone was there, that was the Rohit, just follow the class. If you follow the class, then you will come to know that where we are going on. So next one is prolactin. That is, prolactin regulates the growth of the mammary glands. Prolactin regulates the growth of the mammary glands. As I have mentioned that prolactin is having role in maintaining the production of the milk. So prolactin regulates the growth of the mammary gland, and it also help in the release of the or formation of the milk. Okay, in the mammary gland. After the birth of the baby, milk will be released from the mammary gland, and in that case prolactin is taking main role. Next one was the TSH. TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, stimulates the synthesis and secretion of the hormones of the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland is another endocrine gland, right? Thyroid gland is another endocrine gland, and thyroid gland stimulates the synthesis and secretion of the thyroid hormones. And adrenocorticotropic hormone, that is ACTH, ACTH stimulates the for synthesis and secretion of the steroid hormones, glucocorticoids, which is releasing from the adrenal cortex. As I have mentioned that, as their name suggests, adrenocorticotropic hormone. So adrenal gland is again divided into two parts, adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. So this adrenocorticotropic hormone is stimulating the adrenal cortex to release the glucocorticoids hormones, which is a steroid hormone. Now next one was the LH and FSH, which has the gonadal activity, which stimulates the gonad. You know the meaning of the gonad. Gonad means testis and ovary, right? So LH stimulates the synthesis and secretion of the androgens from females, androgens from testes in case of males. Okay, so in males actually FSH and androgens regulate the spermatogenesis process. So spermatogenesis is the process by which we can understand how sperms can be formed. Okay, this is the process. This process is called as spermatogenesis, formation of sperm. And in case of females, LH or luteinizing hormone induces ovulation from the fully mature follicles, that is Graafian follicle, and maintains the corpus luteum and which is formed from the remains of the Graafian follicle. So you have read about the menstrual cycle already in the class 10, and in the ovary there are some follicles which are developing, and the matured follicle is considered as Graafian follicle, and on the 14th day from the matured Graafian follicle, egg or ova will be released, and this process was considered as ovulation, and LH is playing main role in that ovulation, and after the ovulation the remaining part of the Graafian follicle is considered as corpus luteum, and this LH is having main role in these two structures. Okay, now and FSH stimulates the growth and development of the ovarian follicles in case of females also. So we can see that FSH is having role in the development of the different reproductive parts in case of male and female both. And next hormone was the MSH, that released from the another part of the posterior pituitary, that was melanocyte stimulating cells, and it was the melanin containing cells, and it regulates the pigmentation of the skin. As you know that for our pigmentation of the skin, a pigment is responsible which is considered as melanin. Okay, and another hormone from the posterior pituitary, that was the oxytocin. Oxytocin acts on the smooth muscles and it stimulates their contraction, so that it helps in the parturition or the childbirth, and also it helps in the ejection of the milk from the mammary gland. And vasopressin acts on the kidney and stimulates the reabsorption of the water and electrolytes from the distal tubules, and thereby it reduces the water loss through urine. Okay, so when our body will get dehydrated, we should not release the water from the body. We need to conserve the water. So ADH or vasopressin will act on the distal tubule of the kidney and will help to reabsorb the water and electrolyze, and will maintain the body homeostasis. And as I have already mentioned that this hormone is also called as antidiuretic hormone. Okay, so again I have repeated all the functions of the different hormones released by the anterior and posterior pituitary. So this is all about the pituitary. In my next class I will discuss about the other glands, okay, like pineal gland, thyroid gland. So up to this portion, do you have any doubt? If you have, you can ask me. Clear, everyone? Okay, okay, okay. So students, those okay, just a minute. Okay, so You are not having any problem. So thank you everyone.